I came home by surprise and heard my husband telling his friends that he kissed my best friend secretly at our wedding. They all laughed at me. Before continuing the story, let us know in the comments which city you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you won't miss more stories, and leave your like on the video. I balanced the bakery box carefully as I fumbled for my keys, grinning at the thought of his face when he saw the cake. 3 layers, chocolate ganache, the works. I'd taken a half day off work, driven across town to that fancy bakery he loved, spent way too much money. But it was his birthday, and I wanted it to be perfect. The front door was unlocked. I frowned, pushing it open quietly. He must have come home early too. Then I heard it. Laughter. Male voices coming from the living room, loud and unrestrained. I recognized his laugh immediately, that deep rumble that used to make my stomach flip. Now it just made me pause in the hallway, uncertain. Man, I still can't believe she never noticed, someone said. It sounded like his college friend, the one who always drank too much at parties. Right? I mean, it's right there on the video, clear as day. Another voice, higher pitched. His cousin, maybe. My husband's voice cut through. What can I say? She was too busy playing perfect hostess to notice anything. They erupted into laughter again. Something cold settled in my chest. I set the cake box down on the console table, moving slowly, quietly. My feet knew the way through our house, avoiding the creaky floorboard near the kitchen, staying close to the wall. Through the archway, I could see the back of the couch, the glow of the TV reflecting off the walls. Play it again, someone urged. The part where you... Shh, wait, let me rewind. I stepped closer, pressing myself against the wall. On the screen, I saw myself in my wedding dress. White lace, sweetheart neckline, the dress I'd searched for over 6 months to find. I looked happy, radiant, clueless. The camera panned across the reception. There was the DJ booth, the buffet table with its ridiculous ice sculpture, guests dancing. Then it zoomed in on a corner of the venue, partially hidden by floral arrangements. My husband in his tuxedo, and my maid of honor, Becca, in that emerald green dress we'd spent hours picking out together. They were talking, standing close, too close. Then he leaned in, and she didn't pull away. It wasn't a cheek kiss. It wasn't a congratulatory hug that went wrong. His hand was on her waist, her fingers clutching his lapel, and their mouths were together for 1, 2, 3 seconds that seemed to stretch into eternity on that screen. Look at her in the background, one of them said, pointing. On the screen, I could see myself across the room, laughing with my aunt, completely oblivious to what was happening 20 feet away. She had no clue, my husband said, and I could hear the smile in his voice. Still doesn't. You think she ever watched the video? Nah. She watched it once right after the wedding, said it made her too emotional to watch again. Too many happy memories or whatever. He said it mockingly, and they all laughed. My hands were shaking. I pressed them flat against the wall, trying to steady myself. Becca, though, the cousin said. She was hot that night. Still is. Tell me about it, my husband replied. Sometimes I wonder, dude, you're married. Yeah. To someone who thinks folding my laundry is quality time. More laughter. My vision blurred. I couldn't tell if it was tears or rage or both. But hey, he continued, her dad keeps the bills paid, she keeps the house clean, and I get to do whatever I want. Not a bad setup. I stood there for what felt like hours, but was probably only seconds, watching them rewind and replay that moment over and over. Each replay felt like a fresh wound, the knife twisting deeper. Finally, I forced myself to move. I walked backward, retracing my steps through the hallway, past the abandoned cake box, out the front door. I sat in my car in the driveway, staring at the steering wheel. 3 years. We'd been married for 3 years, and on the day I'd promised forever to him, in front of everyone we loved, he'd kissed my best friend, and she'd let him. My phone buzzed. A text from him. Where are you? Thought you were coming home early. I stared at it. Through the windshield, I could see the living room window, could see the flicker of the TV screen. I picked up my phone and called my sister. When she answered, I couldn't speak for a moment. Hey, she said. What's wrong? Can you come over? My voice sounded strange, distant. I need you to come over right now. I'm on my way. I hung up. Then I got out of the car, grabbed the bakery box from the console table, and walked back to my car. The cake was still perfect, completely intact. I set it on the passenger seat and started the engine. I drove to the park 3 blocks away and sat there, engine running, air conditioning blasting even though it wasn't hot. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. My sister arrived in 15 minutes. She pulled up next to me, got out, and climbed into my passenger seat without a word, moving the cake box to the back. Talk to me, she said. I couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I pulled out my phone and opened the voice recording app. I need to go back. I need to record what they're saying. What? Why? Because no one will believe me otherwise. My voice sounded mechanical, detached. Because I need proof. She studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. Okay. Let's go. We drove back in silence. I parked on the street this time instead of the driveway. My sister stayed in the car while I approached the house alone, phone already recording in my pocket. The front door was still unlocked. I could hear them before I even stepped inside. They'd moved on from the wedding video, but the conversation hadn't improved. I'm just saying, man, you've got it pretty good, the college friend was saying. Nice house, everything paid for, and you don't have to do shit. Right? Her dad basically funds our whole life. The mortgage, the cars, even that vacation we took last year. All him. My husband sounded proud of this. And she doesn't even realize how much control I have. She thinks we're partners. What about Becca, though? The cousin again. You two still in touch? My breath caught. I pressed closer to the wall. Here and there, she texts sometimes. Nothing serious. Yet, someone said, and they all laughed. Look, I'm not stupid enough to blow up my situation. As long as her dad's writing checks and she's cooking dinner every night, I'm staying put. It's comfortable. But you're not happy, the college friend said. It wasn't a question. A pause. Happy? I don't know. It's not about happy. It's about easy. And this is easy. Until it's not, the cousin said. What happens when she figures out you checked out years ago? She won't. She's too busy trying to be the perfect wife to notice I stopped trying to be a good husband. More laughter. I felt sick. Remember your bachelor party? The college friend said. You told us then you weren't sure about getting married. Yeah, but her dad had already put down the deposit on the venue. What was I supposed to do? And honestly, it's not terrible. She leaves me alone most of the time, the house is always clean, and I don't have to worry about bills. Could be worse. Could be better, though, the cousin said. Could be with someone you actually want to fuck. I stopped recording. I'd heard enough. I walked back outside, got in my car with my sister, and played the recording for her. She listened in silence, her face growing harder with each passing second. That son of a bitch, she said when it finished. That absolute son of a bitch. 3 years, I said. We've been married for 3 years, and this whole time, he married you for money and convenience. She wasn't asking. My dad doesn't even give us that much. He helped with the down payment on the house, and sometimes he gives us money for Christmas or birthdays, but it's not like we're living off him. Doesn't matter. That's how he sees it. You're a meal ticket and a maid service. I stared at the steering wheel. The recording was still playing in my head, on loop, mixing with the image of him kissing Becca at our wedding. What do you want to do? My sister asked. I want him out, I said. The words came out stronger than I expected. I want him out of my house. Tonight? Tonight. She reached over and squeezed my hand. Then let's go get him out. We sat there for another minute, gathering strength. Then I started the engine and drove back to the house that was in my name, that my father had helped me buy before I even met my husband, and that I'd stupidly added him to the mortgage on after we got married. My sister followed me inside this time. The men in the living room looked up when we appeared in the archway. Hey, babe, my husband said, smiling like nothing was wrong, like he hadn't just spent the last hour mocking our marriage. I thought you were working late? I was, I said. My voice was steady, cold, but I came home early, for your birthday. He stood up, and I saw the moment confusion crossed his face. He could tell something was wrong, but couldn't figure out what. The cake's in the car, I continued. Chocolate ganache. 3 layers. I spent 2 hours picking it out. Oh, that's really nice. I heard everything, I said. The room went silent. His friends exchanged glances. What do you mean? But his face had gone pale. I held up my phone. I mean, I heard you talking about the wedding video. About Becca. About how my dad pays for everything and I'm basically your maid. It was just guy talk, I didn't— Get out, I said. What? Get out of my house. Now. His friends were already standing, grabbing their phones and keys, mumbling excuses about needing to leave. They couldn't get out fast enough. My sister watched them go with her arms crossed, making sure they actually left. When the door closed behind them, my husband turned back to me. You're overreacting. It was just stupid guy talk. I didn't mean any of it. Yes. You did, I said. Every word. He tried to follow me as I walked to the bedroom. My sister blocked his path. Give her space, she said. This is my house too. Actually, I called from the hallway. It's my house. My name was on the deed first. You got added to the mortgage, but the deed is still primarily mine. I pulled suitcases from the closet and started throwing his clothes inside. Shirts, pants, shoes, everything within reach. I wasn't being careful. I wasn't folding anything. I just wanted him gone. He appeared in the doorway. Stop. Can we just talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. I didn't look at him. You made it perfectly clear how you feel. You're here for convenience and money. Well, the convenience is over. I was venting. I was being an idiot. You know how guys are when they get together. I know how you are, I said, finally meeting his eyes. You kissed Becca at our wedding. His face went blank. That was nothing. It was 3 years ago. It was our wedding day. And you never told me. Because it didn't mean anything. It was stupid. We were drunk. It was 1 second. It was 3 seconds. I watched the video. Multiple times, actually, since your friends seem to enjoy replaying it. He ran his hands through his hair. Okay, I fucked up. I should have told you. But nothing happened after that, I swear. Do you still talk to her? A pause. Too long. Sometimes. But it's just, get out. Baby, please. Don't call me that. I zipped one suitcase closed and moved to the dresser for more clothes. You don't get to call me that after what you said about me. I'm not your baby. I'm not even your wife, apparently. I'm just the woman whose father pays your bills. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. I grabbed another armful of his clothes. You said you're only staying because it's comfortable. Because I cook and clean and don't bother you. Well, I'm bothering you now. Pack your shit and leave. My sister appeared behind him. Can you talk to her? Tell her she's being crazy? She's being sane for the first time in 3 years, my sister said. Now move. He looked between us and I saw the moment he realized we were serious. Where am I supposed to go? Call your mother, call your friends, call Becca for all I care, just get out of my house. Our house. I'm on the mortgage, which I can refinance in my name. My dad will help me. You know, the dad whose money you've been living off of? His jaw tightened. That's not fair. Fair? I laughed, but it came out harsh. You want to talk about fair? You've been pretending to be a good husband while mocking me behind my back. You kissed my best friend at our wedding. You just admitted you checked out years ago, and you think I'm being unfair? I made mistakes, okay? I'm sorry, but you can't just throw away 3 years of marriage over one bad day. This isn't about one bad day. This is about 3 years of lies. I dropped another suitcase at his feet. This is everything from your side of the closet. If I missed anything, I'll mail it to your mother's house. You're really doing this? Right now? On my birthday? The audacity of that statement hit me like a physical blow. Yes, right now, on your birthday. Because I came home with a cake to surprise you, and instead, I found out my entire marriage has been a complete joke. He stared at me for a long moment. I waited for more arguments, more excuses, more manipulation. But something in my face must have told him it was over. Fine, he said finally. Fine, I'll go, but this isn't over. We need to talk about this properly when you've calmed down. I am calm, I said. And I was. Underneath the anger and hurt, I felt strangely clear-headed. And we will talk, through lawyers. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious about anything in my life. My sister handed him his suitcases. He took them, his hands shaking slightly, and looked at me one more time. You'll regret this, he said. No, I said quietly. I regret the 3 years I wasted on you. I'm not making that mistake again. He left. My sister and I listened to him stumble down the stairs, heard the front door open and close, heard his car start in the driveway and pull away. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and started to cry. My sister sat beside me, pulling me into her arms. I sobbed into her shoulder, all the shock and pain finally breaking through. She didn't say anything. She just held me while I fell apart. When the tears finally slowed, she got up and came back with a box of tissues and a glass of water. Drink, she said. I did. My throat was raw. We need to call Dad, she said gently. And you need to call a lawyer. First thing tomorrow. I nodded, wiping my face. What about Lily? Our daughter. She was at my parents' house for the night, having a sleepover with them. She had no idea her world was about to change. We'll figure that out, my sister said. One thing at a time. The next morning, my parents arrived early. My father's face was tight with controlled anger when I played him the recording. My mother just looked sad. I never liked him, my father said quietly. But I thought maybe I was being overprotective. You were right, I said. We were sitting at the kitchen table, Lily still asleep upstairs. About everything. My mother reached across the table and squeezed my hand. What do you need from us? A lawyer. A good one. My father nodded. I know someone. She handled my business partner's divorce last year. She's tough. Good. I want tough. My sister brought coffee, and we started making a list of everything that needed to happen. Change the locks, remove his name from shared accounts, document everything. My father offered to help with the mortgage refinancing. The house was yours first, he said. We'll make sure it stays that way. Around 9, Lily woke up and came padding downstairs in her pajamas, dragging her stuffed rabbit. Mommy. She climbed into my lap and I held her tight, breathing in the smell of her shampoo. Hi, baby. Where's Daddy? The question I'd been dreading. Everyone at the table went quiet. Daddy's staying somewhere else for a while, I said carefully. Why? Because Mommy and Daddy need some time apart. Did you have a fight? Something like that. She was quiet for a moment, processing. Is he coming back? I don't know, sweetie. Maybe not. Oh, she hugged her rabbit tighter. Okay. It was too easy. That acceptance. She was only 4. She didn't understand yet what this meant. My mother took Lily to the living room to watch cartoons while the adults continued planning. My phone kept buzzing. Text after text from him. I'm sorry. Please, can we talk? I love you. You're being unreasonable. My mother wants to talk to you. I ignored them all. Then the calls started. Different numbers. I blocked each one. His mother's number popped up and I let it go to voicemail. Her message was exactly what I expected. Defending her son. Accusing me of overreacting. Demanding I reconsider. I deleted it. He's going to escalate, my sister said. You know that, right? I know. We should document everything, every call, every text, every time he shows up. Shows up? My mother asked, alarmed. He will, my sister said grimly. Guys like him always do. They can't handle losing control. She was right, of course. By noon, he was parked outside the house. I watched from the window as he sat in his car, staring at the front door. He didn't get out, just sat there. Should we call the police? My mother asked. He's not doing anything illegal, my father said. He's parked on a public street, but he's harassing her. Not technically, not yet. After an hour, he left, but he came back that evening, and the next morning. Each time, he just sat there, watching the house. On the third day, I had my first consultation with the lawyer my father recommended. Her name was Ruth, and she had the kind of sharp, no-nonsense energy I needed. You have the recording? She asked. I played it for her. She listened without expression, taking notes. This is good. Very good. Shows his state of mind, his motivations. The fact that he admitted to ongoing contact with the other woman is particularly useful. There's more, I said, and told her about the wedding video, about Becca, about the years of feeling like something was off but never being able to prove it. Do you suspect there's been a physical affair? I don't know, maybe. He said they still text. We'll need to get access to his phone records if possible. And social media. People are usually careless about what they put online. She outlined the process: filing for divorce, establishing custody arrangements, dividing assets. It sounded exhausting and expensive. Your father mentioned he'd help with costs, she said. That's good. Your husband will likely try to drag this out. They usually do when they're the ones being left. How long will this take? Months, maybe a year. It depends on how cooperative he is. I left her office feeling drained. My sister picked me up. How'd it go? She's good. Scary good. I think she'll destroy him. Good. He deserves it. We drove home in silence. When we pulled into the driveway, I noticed something on the front porch. A bouquet of roses with a card that read, I'm sorry. Please give me another chance. I picked them up and dropped them directly into the trash can by the garage. A week after I kicked him out, Becca called. I stared at her name on my phone screen for 3 rings before answering. Part of me wanted to let it go to voicemail, but another part needed to hear what she had to say. Hello. Oh my God. Finally. Her voice was breathless, relieved. I've been trying to reach you for days. I know. Listen, I heard what happened. He called me, completely distraught. I felt like I needed to check on you. The audacity. You felt like you needed to check on me. Yes, I know you must be going through a lot right now, and I just wanted to say that I'm here if you need to talk. I sat down on the couch, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process this. Becca, I saw the wedding video. Silence. The kiss, I continued, at my wedding, with my husband. That was... She took a breath. That was a mistake. We were drunk. It didn't mean anything. Everyone keeps saying that. But you know what? I don't believe it anymore. It's the truth. Is it? Because he said you two still text, that you're still in touch. Another pause. Longer this time. We're friends, that's all. Friends don't kiss at their friend's wedding. It was 3 years ago. Are you really going to hold one stupid mistake against me for the rest of our lives? One stupid mistake? Becca, you were my maid of honor. You stood next to me at that altar. You gave a toast about how perfect we were together. And the whole time, you'd just finished kissing my husband in a corner of the venue. I know how it looks, but how long have you been sleeping with him? The words came out before I'd fully formed the thought. But once they were out there, hanging in the air between us, I knew. I just knew. What? We're not. Don't lie to me. Not anymore. I swear we're not together. We're just friends. Does your fiancé know you're just friends with my husband? I heard her breath catch. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk to me about what's fair? Look, I called because I care about you. I wanted to make sure you're okay. No, I said slowly. You called because he asked you to. He's probably sitting right there, isn't he? Telling you what to say? He's not. Put him on speaker. I know he can hear me. Jesus Christ. I heard his voice in the background. Muffled, but definitely his. Just hang up. Is he at your place, Becca? Your place that you share with your fiancé? He needed somewhere to stay. His mother's place is too far from work. So you took him in. How generous of you. You threw him out. What was he supposed to do? Not be a lying, cheating piece of shit would have been a good start. You're being unreasonable. He made mistakes. But so have you. You pushed him away. You were always so focused on being perfect. Stop, I said. My voice came out cold, controlled. Just stop. How long, Becca? How long have you been fucking my husband? I heard him say something sharp in the background. Then Becca's voice, quieter now. This isn't what you think. Then tell me what to think. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like my best friend and my husband have been having an affair, possibly since before we even got married. It's not like that. Then what's it like? She was crying now. As I could hear it in her voice. I never meant to hurt you. Neither of us did. And there it was. The confession I'd been waiting for. How long? I asked again. 2 years, she whispered. A little over 2 years. 2 years. While I was pregnant with Lily. While I was home alone with a newborn. Exhausted and overwhelmed. While I was making dinners and folding laundry and trying to be a good wife and mother. They were together. Does your fiancé know? No, and you can't tell him. Please. Why not? He deserves to know the truth. Because it would destroy him. And it's over now anyway. We ended it. When? Last week. When you kicked him out. We both agreed it was wrong, that we needed to stop. You ended a 2-year affair last week because I finally caught on. How noble. I know you're angry. I'm past angry. Becca, I'm somewhere else entirely. Somewhere cold and clear where I can see exactly what you are. What he is. And what you've both done to me. I'm sorry. She was sobbing now. I'm so sorry. I never wanted this to happen. It happened. No, you chose this. Both of you. Every single day for 2 years, you chose to betray me. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but not from sadness. From rage. Pure, crystalline rage. I immediately opened my contacts and found what I was looking for. The number for Becca's fiancé. We'd met a few times at parties, exchanged pleasantries. He seemed like a decent guy. He deserved to know. But my hand hovered over the call button. Was this revenge? Was I doing this to hurt her the way she'd hurt me? Or was I doing it because it was the right thing to do? Maybe both. And maybe that was okay. I pressed call. He answered on the second ring. Hello? Hi. We met at Becca's birthday party last year. I was married to her friend. Oh yeah. Hi. Is everything okay? No, I said. No, it's not. And I think you deserve to know why. His name was Tom. Over the next hour, I told him everything. The wedding video, the recording, the phone call with Becca, the confession. He was quiet for most of it, only asking a few clarifying questions. When I finished, there was a long silence. I need to check something, he said finally. Can I call you back? Of course. He hung up. I sat on my couch staring at the wall, wondering if I just made everything worse. But no, he deserved to know. Just like I'd deserved to know. My sister came downstairs. Was that him? No. Becca's fiancé. I told him about the affair. Her eyes widened. Wow, how'd he take it? Hard to say. He's checking something. He said he'd call back. She sat beside me. You did the right thing. Did I? Or did I just blow up 2 relationships because I'm angry? They blew up their own relationships. You just told the truth. An hour later, Tom called back. His voice was different now. Harder. I found them. Found what? Messages. She has a second Instagram account. I never knew about it. Private. I went through her phone while she was in the shower. He laughed bitterly. I know that's terrible, going through someone's phone. But I'm glad I did. What did you find? Everything. 2 years of messages, photos. They weren't even careful. There are pictures of them together in hotels, restaurants, messages talking about how they wished they could be together, how they were planning to leave us both eventually. My stomach dropped. Planning to leave us? That's what they said. Once Lily was older. Once I'd paid off more of Becca's student loans. They had it all figured out. I felt sick. Can you send me screenshots? Already did. Check your email. I opened my laptop with shaking hands. The email was there with a dozen attached images. I clicked through them, each one worse than the last. Pictures of them kissing, his hand on her waist. A selfie in a hotel room, both of them in bathrobes. Messages that made my skin crawl. I can't wait to wake up next to you every morning. Soon. Just a little longer and we'll have everything we want. She suspects nothing. Neither does he. There was one from when I was 8 months pregnant. I know this is hard, but think about our future. Once the baby's here and things settle down, we can figure out our next move. And his response, I know, I just hate lying to her. But you're worth it. I closed the laptop before I could read more. I'm leaving her, Tom said. Tonight, I already packed a bag. I just wanted to wait until I talked to you to thank you for telling me. I'm sorry. I know this isn't easy. It's better than living a lie. At least now I know the truth. He paused. Are you going to be okay? Eventually. I have my daughter. My family. That's enough. If you need anything, testimony for court, witness statements, whatever, I'm here. Thank you. Really? After we hung up, I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer. Then I just sat there, staring at nothing, trying to process the depth of their betrayal. They'd been planning this for years. They'd looked at me, at Tom, at Lily, and decided we were all acceptable collateral damage in their love story. My phone buzzed. A text from him. What did you do? Becca's fiancé just showed up and took all his stuff. She's hysterical. This is your fault. I typed back. No, this is your fault. And hers. I just told the truth. You vindictive bitch. I screenshot the message and sent it to my lawyer, then blocked his number. Again. 5 minutes later, another text from a different number. You destroyed Becca's life. Are you happy now? Block. Another number. My mom's right about you. You're a cold, heartless... Block. They kept coming. Friends' numbers. His cousin. People I barely knew. All of them defending him, attacking me. I blocked every single one and finally turned off my phone entirely. My sister found me in the kitchen an hour later, crying into a cup of cold coffee. They're all texting me, I said. Everyone's saying I'm the villain, that I ruined everything. They're idiots. They don't know the truth. But what if they're right? What if I should have just kept quiet? Tried to work it out? She grabbed my shoulders. Listen to me. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. He cheated. She cheated. They lied to you for years. And when you found out, you made the choice to walk away. That's not vindictive. That's self-respect. Then why do I feel so awful? Because you loved him. Because you trusted her. And they both betrayed that. It's okay to feel awful. But don't let them make you feel guilty for refusing to be their doormat anymore. I nodded, wiping my eyes. She was right. I knew she was right. But it still hurt. Lily started asking more questions after the first week. When is Daddy coming home? I don't know, sweetie. Does he not love us anymore? That one broke my heart. Daddy loves you very much. This isn't about you. This is between Mommy and Daddy. But why can't he come home? Because sometimes adults need to live in different places. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you. She seemed to accept this, but I noticed changes. Small things at first. She became more clingy, following me from room to room. She had trouble sleeping, waking up in the middle of the night crying. I'd find her in the hallway, standing in the dark. Bad dream? I'd ask. She'd nod and climb into bed with me, curling into my side like she used to when she was smaller. Her preschool teacher called me in for a meeting 2 weeks after he moved out. We've noticed some behavioral changes, she said gently. We were sitting in tiny chairs meant for 4-year-olds, surrounded by finger paintings and alphabet posters. Lily's been more aggressive with the other children. Yesterday, she pushed another little girl off the swing. She pushed someone? Yes. And when I asked her why, she said the girl was being mean, but the other teachers and I didn't see any conflict before the push. She just did it. I felt a wave of guilt. We're going through a separation, her father and I. I'm sure that's affecting her. The teacher nodded sympathetically. That makes sense. These situations are always hard on children. Has she talked to anyone about it? A counselor, maybe? Not yet, but I'll look into it. That might help. And in the meantime, we'll keep an eye on her here. Try to give her some extra support. That night, I sat Lily down for a talk. Your teacher said you pushed another girl today. She looked down at her hands. She was being mean. What did she do? She said her daddy takes her to the park every day. And I said my daddy doesn't live with us anymore, and she laughed. Oh, that wasn't nice of her to laugh. So I pushed her. I understand why you were upset. But pushing isn't okay. Even when people aren't nice to us. Why doesn't Daddy live with us anymore? We'd been over this, but she needed to hear it again. And probably 100 more times before it really sank in. Because Mommy and Daddy were having problems. Adult problems. And we decided it would be better if we lived in different houses. Was it because of me? My heart clenched. No, baby, not at all. This has nothing to do with you. Did I do something bad? No. You're perfect. This is about Mommy and Daddy. Not about you. She was quiet for a moment. Does Daddy still want to see me? Yes. Of course he does. The truth was, I didn't know. He'd been so focused on harassing me, on trying to manipulate me into taking him back, that he'd barely mentioned Lily. No requests to see her, no asking how she was doing, just text after text about how unfair I was being, how I was ruining his life. But I couldn't tell Lily that. Not yet. When can I see him? Soon. We're working it out. That seemed to satisfy her, at least for now. But as the days went on, I saw more changes. She stopped playing with her favorite toys. She picked at her food. One morning, I found her sitting in the closet, hugging her stuffed rabbit. What are you doing in here? Hiding. From what? I don't know. I pulled her out and held her. She felt so small, so fragile. This was my fault. Not the separation, that was necessary. But the timing, the way it happened, the chaos. I'd been so focused on my own pain that I hadn't fully considered how this would affect her. That afternoon, I called a child therapist. The earliest appointment was in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, he started using Lily as a weapon. Text messages. She must miss me so much. You're keeping me from my daughter. I want to see Lily. You can't keep her from me. My lawyer says I have rights. You're violating them. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, who responded with a calm, measured email. Don't engage. Document everything. We'll address custody in court. But it was hard not to engage when he showed up at Lily's preschool one afternoon, trying to pick her up. The director called me immediately. Your husband is here. He's saying he has the right to take Lily home. My blood ran cold. Don't let him. I'm on my way. I got there in 10 minutes, breaking probably half a dozen traffic laws. He was in the office, arguing with the director. I'm her father. You can't keep me from her. We need to follow the proper procedures, the director said firmly. Only authorized guardians can pick up children. I'm authorized. I'm on the list. Actually, I said from the doorway, I had him removed from the list yesterday. He spun around. You can't do that. I can. And I did. You're not taking her anywhere without a court order. His face went red. You're poisoning her against me. You're using our daughter as a pawn. I'm protecting her. There's a difference. The director stepped between us. I'm going to have to ask you both to leave. This isn't appropriate behavior in front of the children. I just want to see my daughter, he said, and his voice cracked. For a moment, he almost sounded sincere. Almost. Then go through the proper channels, I said. Get a lawyer. File for custody. But you're not showing up here and taking her without warning. He left, but not before shouting loud enough for half the school to hear. This isn't over! I knew it wasn't. It was just beginning. The harassment escalated after the preschool incident. He started showing up everywhere. At the grocery store when I was shopping. In the parking lot when I left work. Sitting in his car outside the house at random hours, just watching. None of it was technically illegal. He was always on public property, never threatening, never getting too close. But it was constant, and it was exhausting. My lawyer filed for a restraining order, but the judge denied it. He hasn't made any threats, Ruth explained over the phone. He hasn't been violent. The judge doesn't think there's enough evidence of imminent danger. He's stalking me. I know. But legally, he's just present, in public places where he has every right to be. So I just have to live like this? Looking over my shoulder constantly? Document everything. Take photos every time you see him. Record dates, times, locations. If this continues, we can try again for the restraining order. But for now, we focus on the divorce and custody. The divorce papers were filed. He was served at work, which I knew would humiliate him. Good. His response was to start a campaign of phone calls. Not to me. I'd blocked every number he tried. But to everyone I knew. My friends, my coworkers, my family. She's lying about me, he'd say. She's mentally unstable. I'm worried about Lily's safety. Some people believed him. Others called me to warn me what he was saying. Either way, it was exhausting to constantly defend myself. Then his mother showed up at my house. I was making dinner when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I could see her standing on my porch, arms crossed, face hard. I considered not answering, but she'd just keep ringing, and Lily was in the next room. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. What do you want? To talk some sense into you. There's nothing to talk about. You're destroying my son's life over one mistake. One mistake? He had a 2-year affair with my best friend. He married me for money. He's never loved me. That's not true. He does love you. He just made a bad choice. 2 years of bad choices. Everyone makes mistakes. Are you really going to throw away your marriage without even trying to work it out? We're done working it out. I'm done being lied to. Think about Lily. She needs her father. She'll have her father. Through supervised visitation if he's lucky. Her face went red. You're a vindictive, spiteful woman. My son deserves better. Your son deserves exactly what he's getting. Now get off my property. I'm not leaving until... Get off my property, or I'm calling the police. She left, but not before leaving a string of insults in her wake. I locked the door, leaned against it, and tried to calm my racing heart. Lily appeared in the hallway. Who was that? Nobody important, sweetie. Was it Grandma? I'd forgotten that Lily knew his mother's voice. Yes, but she had to go. Why was she yelling? She was just upset. It's okay now. But it wasn't okay. That night, he showed up at 7 a.m, pounding on the door hard enough to wake both of us. I know you're in there. We need to talk. I grabbed my phone and started recording. Lily was crying in her room, scared by the noise. Leave or I'm calling the police, I shouted through the door. This is my house too. You can't keep me out. I absolutely can. This is my property and you're trespassing. I just want to see my daughter. I called 911. There's a man pounding on my door. He's my estranged husband, and I've asked him to leave multiple times. The dispatcher asked if he'd made any threats. He hadn't. She said they'd send someone out, but it wasn't an emergency, so it might be a while. By the time the police arrived 20 minutes later, He was gone. We can file a report, the officer said. But without a restraining order, there's not much we can do. He's not committing a crime by knocking on the door. He was pounding on it, screaming. He scared my daughter. I understand, ma'am, but legally our hands are tied. You need to go through the courts. I took Lily to my parents' house that day and stayed there for the rest of the week. I couldn't be in my own home, constantly waiting for him to show up again. My father changed the locks while we were gone, added a security camera at the front door, installed motion sensor lights. If he comes back, we'll have video evidence, he said. That might help with the restraining order. Sure enough, 2 days after I returned home, he was back, standing on the sidewalk staring at the house. The camera caught everything. Then he started leaving things, flowers on the porch, letters pushed through the mail slot. A teddy bear for Lily, left on the doorstep with a note that read, "Daddy misses you." I gave everything to my lawyer, who added it to the growing file of documentation. This is good, Ruth said. It shows a pattern of harassment and boundary violation. We'll use this in the custody hearing. The custody hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks out. In the meantime, I had to figure out how to keep living my life while he inserted himself into it at every opportunity. The breaking point came when he showed up at my office. I was in a meeting with my boss and 2 co-workers when the receptionist buzzed. "There's someone here to see you. Says he's your husband." My stomach dropped. "Tell him I'm not available." "He's insisting. He says it's urgent. Call security." But before security could arrive, he pushed his way past the receptionist and into the conference room, his mother trailing behind him. "We need to talk," he said, holding up his phone. "I have something you need to hear." My boss stood. "Sir, you can't be here. This is a private meeting. I'm her husband. We need to talk." "I'm calling security," my boss said, reaching for the phone. "Wait, just listen." He pressed play on his phone, and his own voice filled the room, sobbing. Actually sobbing. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But please, please give me another chance. I love you. I've always loved you. I can't live without you." It was a recording he'd made of himself crying, a manipulation tactic, and he was playing it in front of my co-workers. I felt my face burn with humiliation. Security arrived and escorted him out. His mother followed, shouting about how I was ruining him, how I was heartless. My boss looked at me with concern. "Are you okay?" "I'm so sorry. I didn't know he'd—" "Don't apologize. This isn't your fault." She paused. "Do you need to take the rest of the day?" I wanted to say no, to push through, to prove I could handle it. But the truth was, I couldn't. Not right then. "Yes. Thank you." I drove home in a daze. My phone was ringing constantly, him, from different numbers. His mother, his friends. I turned it off completely. When I got home, there was a letter from his lawyer tucked into the mail slot. I opened it with shaking hands. He was suing me for custody, 50-50 split, and he was demanding spousal support. The audacity of it took my breath away. After everything he'd done, the cheating, the lying, the harassment, he wanted me to pay him. I forwarded it to Ruth, who called me back within an hour. "This is a Hail Mary," she said. "He knows he's losing, so he's throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Can he actually get custody? Not 50-50. Not after everything we've documented, but he might get supervised visitation. And the spousal support? That's laughable. He makes decent money. You make slightly more, but not enough to justify support. And given his behavior, no judge is going to award that. So this is just to scare me?" "Exactly. He wants you to panic and give in to some compromise. Don't. We're going to court, and we're going to win." I wanted to believe her, but I was so tired. Tired of fighting, tired of looking over my shoulder, tired of explaining to Lily why Daddy couldn't come home. That night, Lily crawled into bed with me again. "Mommy, are you sad?" "A little bit, baby." "Is it because of Daddy?" "Yes. I'm sad too." I held her close. "I know, but it's going to get better, I promise." I just hoped I was right. Tom posted about the affair 3 days before the custody hearing. I didn't see it at first. I'd been avoiding social media, too exhausted to deal with the constant drama. But my sister called me at 8 in the morning, her voice urgent. "Have you seen it?" "Seen what?" "Tom's post. It's everywhere." I opened my laptop and went to his profile. The post was long, detailed, and devastating. After months of suspicion and gaslighting, I finally have proof. My fiancé has been having an affair for 2 years with her best friend's husband. I trusted her completely. I was planning to spend my life with her. Instead, I discovered she's been lying to me every single day, planning a future with someone else while using me to pay off her student loans. I'm sharing this not for sympathy, but because I believe people deserve to know the truth about who they're dealing with. Attached are screenshots of their messages showing the depth and duration of this betrayal. The screenshots were all there. The hotel photos, the planning messages, the conversations about leaving us both, everything. The post had been shared hundreds of times already. Comments flooded in, most of them supportive of Tom, condemning Becca and my husband. My phone started ringing. Friends who'd seen it, family members, people I hadn't talked to in years, all reaching out to say they'd seen the post. They couldn't believe it. They were so sorry. I felt violated all over again. Not because Tom had posted it. He had every right to tell his story. But because now my private pain was public knowledge. Everyone knew. Everyone was talking about it. My husband's social media accounts disappeared within an hour. Deleted entirely. Becca's went private, but not before people screenshot her last few public posts and circulated them with commentary. My sister came over with coffee and pastries. How are you holding up? I don't know. Part of me is glad it's out there. But part of me just wants to hide. You have nothing to hide. You didn't do anything wrong. I know. But everyone's going to be looking at me differently now. At work, at the store, everywhere. I'm going to be that woman whose husband cheated with her best friend. Better than being the woman who stayed with him despite knowing. She had a point. By noon, the post had gone viral. Local news sites picked it up. A relationship blogger wrote an entire article analyzing the messages. People were messaging me directly, strangers offering support or asking for my side of the story. I ignored all of it. Ruth called that afternoon. Have you seen the social media post? Yes. This is actually good for us. It establishes a public record of the affair, which supports our custody case. It also shows community awareness of his behavior. Will the judge care about social media? Judges are people too. And while they won't make decisions based on Facebook posts, it does establish context. It shows this isn't just your word against his. Other people know about the affair now. There's documentation. The next 2 days were a blur of phone calls, messages, and unwanted attention. People I'd gone to high school with were commenting on the situation. Coworkers were extra gentle with me, tiptoeing around like I might break. My husband tried to call from his mother's phone. I didn't answer. He sent an email. You did this. You told Tom everything, and now he's destroyed both our lives. I hope you're happy. I forwarded it to Ruth without responding. Becca sent a message too. I can't believe you told him. You ruined everything. I've lost my job, my friends, my reputation. Was it worth it? Was your revenge worth destroying my entire life? I blocked her. The truth was, I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt tired. The day before the hearing, my father took me out for coffee. How are you really doing? He asked. Honestly, I don't know. Everything feels surreal. Like this is happening to someone else and I'm just watching. That's shock. It'll pass. Will it? Because right now I can't imagine feeling normal again. You will. It takes time. But you're strong. Stronger than you think. I don't feel strong. I feel like I'm barely holding it together. That's what strength looks like sometimes. Just getting through the day, keeping Lily safe and happy, fighting for what you deserve. That's all strength. I wanted to believe him. That night, I went through all the documentation one more time with Ruth. The recordings, the messages Tom had found, the security camera footage of him banging on my door, the incident reports from the preschool and my workplace. We have a solid case, Ruth said. Infidelity, harassment, boundary violations, concerning behavior around the child. The judge will see all of this. What if he doesn't? What if the judge thinks I'm being vindictive? Then we appeal. But I don't think that'll happen. You've been calm, measured, and focused on Lily's well-being throughout this. He's been erratic and aggressive. The contrast is clear. I slept terribly that night, running through every possible scenario in my head. What if I said the wrong thing? What if the judge didn't believe me? What if he got joint custody and I had to share Lily with him every week? By morning, I was exhausted but determined. I put on my best professional outfit, did my hair and makeup carefully, and tried to look like someone who had their life together, even if I didn't feel like it. My parents met me at the courthouse. My sister couldn't come. Someone needed to watch Lily, but she texted me every 5 minutes with encouragement. You've got this. He's an asshole and everyone knows it. The judge will see through his bullshit. I'm proud of you. I held on to those messages like a lifeline as I walked into the courtroom, ready to fight for my daughter and my future. I ran into Becca at the grocery store 2 days after the hearing. I was pushing my cart through the produce section, Lily sitting in the front seat chattering about the different colors of apples, when I saw her at the end of the aisle. She saw me at the same moment. We both froze. For a second, I considered turning around, pretending I hadn't seen her, but she was already walking toward me, her face desperate. Please, she said. Can we talk? No. Just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. There's nothing to say. There's everything to say. I need to explain. You already explained. You had an affair with my husband for 2 years. You planned a future together. You used both me and Tom. What else is there? Lily looked up, confused. Auntie Becca? My heart sank. I'd forgotten that Lily still knew her as Auntie, still associated her with fun times and presents and laughter. Becca's eyes filled with tears. Hi, sweetie. Why doesn't Auntie Becca come over anymore? Lily asked me. Because Auntie Becca and Mommy aren't friends right now. Why not? Because... I struggled to find age-appropriate words. Because she did something that hurt Mommy's feelings very badly. Did she say sorry? Out of the mouths of children. Yes, but some things are too big for sorry to fix. Becca wiped her eyes. I am sorry. I know you don't believe me, but I am. I never meant for any of this to happen. But it did happen. You chose to make it happen. Every day for 2 years. I know. And I hate myself for it. I've lost everything. My relationship, my friends, my reputation. People at work won't even look at me. I'm probably going to have to move just to get away from the judgment. That's what happens when you betray people. I know. But please, can you at least try to understand? It wasn't planned. We didn't wake up one day and decide to hurt you. It just happened. We fell in love. Don't. My voice came out sharp. Don't romanticize what you did. You didn't fall in love. You made a choice. Multiple choices. To lie, to sneak around, to plan a future while pretending to be my friend. But we did love each other. That has to count for something. It counts for nothing. Because whatever you felt for him, it wasn't worth more than your friendship with me. Or Tom's trust. Or my marriage. Or Lily's sense of security. I gestured to my daughter, who was watching our conversation with wide, confused eyes. She's 4 years old and she's in therapy because her father disappeared from her life, because you and he decided your feelings were more important than anyone else's. That's not fair. None of this is fair. But I didn't make it unfair. You did. Can I at least talk to him? Tell him no, you don't get to be anywhere near him. And honestly, I hope he realizes what you are before he makes the same mistakes with you that he made with me. That's cruel. That's honest. You two deserve each other. Both selfish, both willing to lie to get what you want. I hope you're very happy together. We're not together. We ended it. Good. Then maybe you'll both learn something from this mess. I turned to push my cart away, but Lily reached out toward Becca. Bye, Auntie Becca. Becca's face crumpled. Bye, sweetheart. As we walked away, Lily asked, Is Auntie Becca sad? Yes, baby. Why? Because she lost something important to her. What did she lose? Me. She lost me. Later that night, after Lily was in bed, I sat on the couch and let myself cry. Not because I missed Becca, I didn't, but because I was grieving the friendship I'd thought we had. The person I'd thought she was. My sister found me there an hour later. Rough day? Ran into Becca at the store. Oh God. What happened? I told her. She listened quietly, then said, How do you feel? Empty. Like I should feel angrier or more satisfied, but I just feel empty. That's normal. Confrontation isn't as cathartic as people think it'll be. She wanted me to understand. To forgive her, I think. Do you? Understand? Maybe. I can understand how affairs happen, how people rationalize bad choices. But forgive? No. Not now. Maybe not ever. That's okay too. You don't owe her forgiveness just because she wants it. I know. But Lily asking about her, I shook my head. That hurt. Because Lily doesn't understand why Auntie Becca disappeared. She just knows another person she loved is gone. She'll understand when she's older. And until then, you're protecting her from someone who can't be trusted. I hope she doesn't end up with trust issues because of all this. She won't. Because she has you, and you're showing her what it looks like to have boundaries and self-respect. That's the most important lesson you can teach her. I hoped she was right. He showed up at my office again 3 weeks later. This time, security stopped him at the entrance. But not before he caused a scene in the lobby. His mother was with him again, and together they made enough noise that half my floor could hear them from the elevators. I just want to talk to my wife, he shouted. Ex-wife, I heard security say. And she's asked you not to contact her. You need to leave. This is harassment. She's keeping me from my daughter. My boss appeared at my desk. Is that him? Yes. Do you want to call the police, or should we? I'll do it. This is the second time. They need to know it's a pattern. I called 911, explained the situation calmly, and gave them the address. The operator said they'd send someone right away. By the time the police arrived, he'd escalated to trying to force his way past security. His mother was filming everything on her phone, probably planning to post it online as evidence of how I was victimizing them. The officers talked to him outside while I gave a statement to security. I showed them the previous incident reports, the custody agreement from court that clearly stated he was not to contact me directly, and the documentation of his pattern of harassment. We can arrest him for trespassing, one officer said. But that might make things worse. Or it might make him realize there are consequences for his actions. Fair point. We'll talk to him. If he shows up again, we'll press charges. They left. I went back to my desk, hands shaking, trying to focus on work but unable to think about anything except the confrontation. That afternoon, his lawyer sent my lawyer a letter. In it, they claimed I was denying him access to his daughter in violation of the custody agreement. They demanded immediate makeup visitation and threatened to file for contempt of court. Ruth called me as soon as she received it. Have you been denying him visitation? No. He has supervised visitation every Saturday at a neutral location. He's the one who hasn't shown up to half of them. I thought so. This is just posturing. They're trying to make you look bad before the final custody hearing. The final hearing was in 2 months. That's when the judge would make permanent decisions about custody, support, and the divorce itself. What do? We document his no-shows. Get statements from the supervisor. Show that you've been compliant with every court order while he's been erratic and non-compliant. This letter actually helps us more than it helps them. He also showed up at my office today. Again, with his mother. The police were called. Good. Get a copy of the police report. Add it to the file. Everything was evidence now. Every interaction, every violation, every incident. My entire life had become a legal case file. 2 days later, his lawyer sent another letter. This one demanding spousal support based on the difference in our incomes and the length of our marriage. I laughed when I read it. Actually laughed. He has a job, I told Ruth. A good job. He makes decent money. How can he possibly claim he needs support from me? He can't. But they're throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. The judge will see this as frivolous, especially given his affair and the circumstances of the separation. So we just ignore it? We respond, but we don't panic. This is a negotiation tactic. They want you to offer a settlement just to make it go away. I'm not offering anything. Good. Neither am I. That weekend was his scheduled visitation. I brought Lily to the Supervised Visitation Center, a neutral building with play areas and observation rooms. A social worker would watch the interaction and file a report. He was late. Lily waited in the playroom, asking every few minutes when Daddy would arrive. Soon, baby. But 20 minutes passed, then 30. Finally, 45 minutes after the scheduled start time, the supervisor came out. He's not coming. I've tried calling, but he's not answering. Lily's face fell. Daddy's not here? Not today, sweetie, but maybe next week. On the drive home, she was quiet. Then, softly, Daddy doesn't want to see me anymore. That's not true. He just had something come up. He always has something that comes up. She was right. This was the 3rd visit he'd missed in a row, and I had no excuse for him anymore. That night, she asked if she could sleep in my bed. I said yes, and we lay there in the dark, her small body curled against mine. Mommy? Yeah, baby? Is it okay if I don't miss Daddy anymore? My heart broke. Of course it is. You can feel however you feel. I used to miss him a lot, but now I just feel nothing. She was 4 years old and already learning to protect herself from disappointment by shutting down her feelings. I held her tighter. It's okay to feel nothing, and it's okay if you miss him again later. Feelings change. That's normal. Okay. She was quiet for a moment. Mommy? Yeah? I'm glad I still have you. I kissed the top of her head, tears sliding down my face in the darkness. I'm glad I have you too, baby. Always. The next day, Ruth filed a motion to document his pattern of missed visitations and to modify the custody agreement based on his unreliability. We're building a case that he's not invested in being a parent, she explained, that he's more interested in harassing you than in actually seeing his daughter. The judge will take that into account. What if he suddenly starts showing up to everything? Then we document that too. Show the pattern. Erratic, unpredictable, focused on manipulation rather than consistency. Either way, we're covered. I wanted to believe her. But I'd learned the hard way that the legal system moved slowly, and in the meantime, my daughter was the one suffering. The final custody hearing was on a Tuesday morning in late October. I arrived early with Ruth, dressed professionally, carrying a folder with every piece of documentation we'd collected over the past 4 months. My parents sat in the gallery behind me, silent support. He arrived 10 minutes late with his lawyer, looking disheveled and angry. His mother tried to follow him in, but was told only parties and lawyers were allowed in the courtroom for this hearing. The judge reviewed our case file first. Page after page of evidence, the recording of him mocking our marriage, the wedding video showing him kissing Becca, Tom's screenshots of their affair messages, police reports from his workplace incidents, visitation supervisor reports documenting his missed appointments, the preschool incident report. Ruth presented everything methodically, building a clear narrative. A man who'd betrayed his wife, harassed her after she left, used their daughter as a weapon, and then failed to show up when given opportunities to actually parent. His lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, as someone who destroyed his life and reputation out of spite. But when the judge asked for examples of my misconduct, they had nothing. Every action I'd taken was documented as protective, not punitive. Your client has missed 3 consecutive supervised visitations, the judge noted, looking over his glasses at my husband. Can you explain why? He mumbled something about work conflicts and not being able to afford the supervision fees. The supervision fees are $50 per session, the judge said. You have a full-time job earning adequate income. That's not a valid excuse. I couldn't see my daughter with someone watching me like I'm a criminal. You're not being treated like a criminal. You're being supervised because of your documented pattern of erratic behavior, harassment of your ex-wife, and the incident at your daughter's preschool, where you attempted to remove her without authorization. That's my daughter. I have rights. You have responsibilities, the judge corrected, which you've repeatedly failed to meet. Meanwhile, your ex-wife has complied with every court order, maintained stable housing and employment, ensured your daughter's attendance at therapy and school, and documented your behavior without retaliation. Ruth leaned back slightly. I could feel her satisfaction even though her face remained neutral. The judge took a brief recess to review the evidence. Those 20 minutes felt like hours. When he returned, his decision was clear and comprehensive. Primary physical custody to me. Supervised visitation for him every other Saturday, which could be reevaluated in 6 months if he completed a co-parenting class and maintained consistent attendance. He was ordered to pay child support. His request for spousal support was denied outright. A restraining order was granted, prohibiting him from contacting me except through approved channels regarding Lily, and from coming within 500 feet of my home or workplace. Furthermore, the judge added, any future violations of this order will result in immediate contempt proceedings and possible jail time. Do you understand? Yes, he said quietly. Good. This court finds that the child's best interests are served by stability and protection from conflict. The mother has demonstrated her ability to provide both. The father has demonstrated a pattern of behavior that is concerning and potentially harmful. Custody is awarded accordingly. When we left the courtroom, he tried to approach me in the hallway. Ruth stepped between us immediately. The restraining order is effective immediately, she said firmly. Walk away. He did, but not before his lawyer pulled him aside for what looked like a very tense conversation. My father hugged me tight. It's over. Not completely, I said. We still have the divorce settlement to finalize. But the hard part was done. Lily was safe. I was safe. And he finally had consequences for his actions. That evening, I picked Lily up from my sister's house and took her to the park. It was a beautiful fall day, the leaves turning gold and red, the air crisp, but not cold. How was your day with Auntie? I asked as she ran ahead to the swings. Good, we made cookies. I pushed her on the swing, watching her laugh as she went higher and higher. She looked happy, really happy. Not the forced happiness she'd shown in those first weeks after he left, but genuine joy. Mommy? Yeah, baby. Can we come here every Tuesday? Every Tuesday? Yeah, like this. Just you and me. Sure, baby. We can do that. She smiled and pumped her legs, soaring higher. This is my favorite place now. Mine too. Later, over dinner, I got a text from Tom. We'd stayed in occasional contact, united by our shared experience of betrayal. Saw the custody results. Congratulations. You deserve the win. Thanks. How are you doing? Better. Dating again, actually. Taking it slow, but it feels good to try. That's great. Really. You'll get there too, eventually. Maybe. Right now, I'm just focused on Lily and rebuilding. That's the right priority. Take care of yourself. You too. I set my phone down and looked at Lily, who was meticulously arranging her chicken nuggets by size. Why are you looking at me like that? She asked. Because I love you. I love you too, Mommy. She went back to her nuggets, then added, This is nice. Just us. Yeah, I said. It really is. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. He got limited possessions, a small portion of joint savings, and nothing else. I kept the house, my car, and primary custody. The restraining order remained in place. Becca moved to another state. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd taken a job 3 hours away, starting over somewhere no one knew her story. My husband continued living with his mother, showing up sporadically to his supervised visits, and complaining to anyone who'd listen about how unfair the system was. Tom got engaged to someone new, someone he'd met through work. He sent me a photo of the ring, and I was genuinely happy for him. Lily started kindergarten. Her therapy sessions dropped from weekly to monthly, then to as needed. The nightmares stopped. The clinginess faded. She made new friends, joined a soccer team, and slowly became herself again. Or maybe became who she was always meant to be, without the weight of a dysfunctional home. My sister came over one Sunday for brunch. While Lily played in the backyard, we sat on the porch with coffee. You seem different, she said. Lighter. I feel lighter, like I can finally breathe. You know what I realized? In all the time I've known him, I never saw you really happy. Not like you are now. I thought I was happy. I thought that's what marriage was supposed to feel like. Well, now you know better. Now I know better. She raised her coffee cup. To knowing better. I clinked my cup against hers. To knowing better. That night, after tucking Lily in, I sat in my living room in my house, with no one to answer to or accommodate or tiptoe around. I opened my laptop and started looking at continuing education classes, something I'd always wanted to do but never had time for. Outside, the neighborhood was quiet. Inside, everything was exactly as I wanted it. Clean but lived in, peaceful but full of life. Mine. The cake I'd bought that day, the one I'd set on the passenger seat before discovering his betrayal, had long since been thrown away. But the life I was building now was sweeter than any cake could ever be. Lily called from her room. Mommy, can you check for monsters? I smiled and got up. Coming, baby. As I walked down the hallway toward her room, I realized this was it. This was happiness. Not perfection, not a fairy tale, not the life I'd imagined when I said I do 3 years ago. But it was real, it was mine, and it was enough.